Hey everyone, welcome back to episode number 2 of the Experience SMP with my name, Tree. Welcome in. Hope you're all doing very well. As I say, thank you very much for everyone who has watched episode 1. We were just up there, and we're now down here. I haven't actually released episode 1 yet, so at the time of recording. So if you've watched it, thanks. I don't know yet. I haven't released it, so I don't know how it's going to get on. But I'm actually recording episode 1 and episode 2 together. Actually, currently in 2022 at the end of December. So those videos are actually going to be coming out in the new year once I could wrap up some other pieces of content. So yeah, so we should be on to episode number 2 now, and we're just going to do a little introduction before we kind of get on today. You may have saw from the end of episode 1, I did do a little bit of work that I didn't sort of pre-record just on a live stream, and I was just really I didn't mean to put it into the video, but I ended up liking it that I kept it. So I'm just going to walk you through what we're doing, what we're up to, because obviously today we're going to continue with our project. So as I said, this is going to be a prolonged sort of series, mainly aimed at me building a mega city. So over the course of however many episodes, we're basically going to see this complete build from start to finish. Now, it's going to be quite lengthy, it's going to be quite large, and it should be a bit of fun. Now, I've also been busy setting up a sort of a new temporary home for now. So I've got a little kelp farm down here, and then we've got the little smelter for that, and then at the end we actually have a slightly larger smelter that I've been using to get my materials like the copper getting ready, and a few other blocks as well as some initial sort of storage, and that's all being put in here just now until we actually get a storage area and a house for us to live in. So my house, or where I'm going to live, I haven't quite planned out where that's going to be yet, but we'll see. So just go to sleep really quickly. There we go, cool. Right, and yeah, so that's where we're going to go. So I'll just take you through some of what we've built already. So I'll just go underneath the actual wall here, so you can maybe see it a little bit better. So the wall itself is built up of different deep slate variations, including things like tough, mossy cobblestone, deep slate, cobbles deep slate, and the sort of the deep slate bricks and so forth. So I think it's going to come together underneath. That's obviously going to give us the color and the texture and the variant that we want for underneath. So that's pretty cool. There's still smaller details too. So we actually have these things here. These are going to be little drainage systems. So you can actually see them underneath here. And there's actually a sort of a half block gap for drainage. And there's quite a few of those kind of dotted along the place. And as you can see underneath, look at all that. So it's kind of blending in. We've got a lot of work to do under the water as well, but that's something we'll do at a slightly later date. So yeah, so we're just going to go through a bit of the build process. I'm going to be going through a little time lapse today, and actually these, mainly all the SMP episodes, there'll be a combination of time lapsing and any shenanigans that happen, but this video I presume is going to be over a period of about 3 weeks maybe, depending on what time I've got obviously over the Christmas period to be able to commit to getting a lot of this made and ready for you guys to view on the internet. Tree, continue with your steampunk city, and if anyone does have a name for the city or any more suggestions of what we should call our steampunk city, be sure to drop it into the chat, and we'll try and get some signs to bear it in mind. So let's get on with these builds and see what they turn out like. And there we go. Welcome back, lovely humans. So that was about 6 minutes long, and that was about 9 days. Now, it wasn't 9 days in total. I think in regards to building, it was maybe built over the pace of 5 days, about 4 or 5 hours per time. So it wasn't a huge amount of time that we spent on this build. We actually got that done superlatively quick. But that was mainly due to the efforts and the thanks to some wonderful people on the server that was able to provide us with all the blocks and everything necessary for this. So as you can see, everything's been built with polished blackstone and smooth basalt. That's going to be the primary block palette for this build, along with dark wood. And that's going to be the same for mostly all the other builds as well. So when we come to building the cathedral next here, I'm going to talk about that build palette just at the end of the video, because that will then take us into episode number 3, I think. We'll talk about the palette for this one and what it's going to be. Now, this one actually came out not too bad. You can see with the warp wood, that's the primary roof that we're going to be using for all of our different builds. So this is going to carry on over into all the others too, where we're going to have elements of the sort of steampunk in every single build that we do. So this one, yeah, all the little details came out really nice. Again, I tried to put them all in the time lapse. There's a couple little videos that I cropped out of the final video, but as you can see here, we have pretty much most of it covered from the back, including obviously these sort of ventilation shafts or power. So right actually behind here, you can kind of see where this water is. There's going to be a massive turbine in here that's generating power for the city, and naturally that's what's going to be either, you know, fueling this with the water required, or maybe still letting the steam out or in. We'll come up with a little sort of backstory and lore about how this is all going to work. You can see all the different mechanisms right up at the top there too, and all the different sort of chimneys. I gave this one 2 or 3 different types of chimneys all the way around. So yes, this one's coming out fabby. So I'll take you for a little tour inside. Now we're not going to have done the interior just yet. We are going to work on that next. So I'll open up the door and show you. So we've got the interior all kind of basically as an empty canvas. We can now start coming and focusing on that. That'll probably be the time lapse that we do later on in this video. But you can see obviously here we'll have a little lobby period, and then going upstairs there's 2 bedrooms. So we'll have one on either side here. Going up again, we've got a further 2 bedrooms. But unfortunately with a gaping hole. The next build's going to be sitting right alongside here, and unfortunately I'm not too sure how much further I can build across. So until I start the next build and put the wall up for that cathedral, I'm not going to quite know how far across I can go. So we're going to wait for that just now, and then all the way up to the top. And this is where I think I'm going to live. So right up in this sort of presidential suite, same thing, not build the wall here just yet until we start building the next build. And then we'll finish it up. But this is where my room's going to go. This is where I'm going to live, is in here. So obviously when I walk out, I can then just jump off here. I can access the entire city from this build and come into here to get all my main key resources. So that's it. So we're going to live in here. Super exciting. But, you know, building this doesn't go without its consequences. We did have a couple of little issues. Now, you might have not saw them in the time lapses, unfortunately. But if you were watching the live streams, you probably did. Yeah. Health and safety have deems build unsafe. Alright, okay. That's because we had 2 creeper accidents. Unfortunately, I didn't quite light it up properly, so there were creepers kind of, you know, kicking about the place, and we had a couple of mishaps where creepers blew up parts of the build, and that was just the other day. So days since last incident is back to 0. We're going to have to keep increasing this by 1. We'll add little notices as we go along to our notice board as we build our next 2 out the front here. Pop in here. So I've started to gather materials in here. There's all the different coral blocks, coral sort of variants, different wool, and I'm just going to show you where I got all those because I will need a few more. And all my deep slate, coral, copper. So I've got things. I don't have a lot of things, but I have things. And I think I've been smelting some more copper down here actually. I think it's still going. Yep, I've been smelting a lot more copper for the next build as well. So we've been super busy, but we're going to take you on a little bit of a tour. Let's just kind of show you what everything's about. Oh, it's getting dark. Let's just go to bed first. But let's take you on a little bit of a tour and show you all around the server and how I've been able to build this so quickly. So there's a whole bunch of other people on this server, and what's been set up, so I'm, as you guys probably know by now, I'm more of a vanilla Minecraft guy. Always have been, always will be. Apart from the odd occasional bit and pieces. Oh, let me eat some bread here. It is survival, I keep forgetting it's survival. So what I can do in the command bar, I can actually type in warp. and hit a space, and there's lots of different warp locations we can quickly jump to. Now this is obviously going to be in here for early game for us to allow us to get around, because obviously there's quite a few people on here and a lot of different locations, so it makes it a lot easier for travel. Now I've kind of been using it quite a bit, and I'm going to take you through some of the key ones, just starting at the top and then working our way down to show you all the different sort of things that have been created on the server already, and just give you a little bit of a tour. So I think we'll go to number 1, which is probably the most important one, is warp storage. Now wait for this to load. Now some lovely humans have been particularly busy and setting up a community storage system. Now it doesn't look too much from here, but once you kind of get into it, there's some really neat floor designs, and then here, this is where the magic is. So what's basically happened behind the scenes, there's been a lot of sort of community effort behind to get lots of different blocks. And there's all the stairs, chiseled, normal bricks, and there's loads of stuff like that all the way around, you know, different deep slate variations, granite, diorite. Those are just some of the stones, and as you kind of go through, there's just tons of stuff available. So hopefully, as we obviously progress through the server and progress through our world, I'm going to hopefully add back into here. It's been super grateful that guys have got this in here. A lot of them don't have, you know, many available, but I'd like to kind of come back and, you know, pay my respects and thank yous to the people who have put this together. I think it's like Nico, Mama as well. I think the two of them have put a huge effort into making this happen. So I'm going to hopefully get back to this and, you know, add more in myself to say thank you very much, because there's so many. Look how far it goes. I have to fly. That's how far it is. Different things and variations and glass, copper variations. Craziness. Let's just avoid that. Now you probably saw this one during episode 1. This is now the sort of the balloon, I think it is, like a massive balloon. I think I can go into free cam and show you. There we go. That's a lot easier to see. Yeah, it's a massive balloon that they made over the western village. And basically the balloon allows us to sort of gain XP from obviously killing the mobs. So we mobs grinder here. And then down below around the outside, they've actually got a lot of the sort of things like gunpowder, potion ingredients and other stuff. Mob heads and all sorts of stuff here. I've used this a few times basically to repair the tools. You can see here with the tools, I've got most things, you know, decently leveled up, and obviously I've been trying to keep on top of that as much as I could. But this has been a little godsend, this one, and I think it was maybe Nico that made this. Who knows? It was someone. Thank you. Yeah, someone's made a colossal sheep farm. Now, the thing's a bit ridiculous. And I think it's pretty full. Yep. But I want to show you outside though. It looks amazing. I don't think they've quite finished the top part yet. I don't know what their plan is for the top part, but there's a little rainbow going into that, so like a pot of gold almost. And up here as well, you've got, I think I can get into here. I think there's a lot of villagers in here as well. Yep. Just a couple of villagers. So as I said, I'm miles behind everybody else. Everyone else has been on the server for quite a considerable amount of time. I think I'm kind of caught up now, but at the time when I started episode number 1, yeah, I was at least 4 or 5 weeks behind everybody else. So you can see how much effort's been put into making these things already. And this is where we've actually been covering to get the cyan wool to help us with our roof build. So it's been super handy to sort of have this nearby. We're actually going to take some just now because we need to get some for our build. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that'll do. But yeah, this has been a fantastic help for our main project. Now the honey one's been an interesting one, because obviously with the copper design that we have, I don't want to use the aged copper. I want to use copper as is, a bit like what it is up there actually. So here's a little honey farm. So again, same thing. Honeycomb for days. I think I've taken quite a few out of here, and I think a few people have as well. But you can AFK here for a little while and grab tons. I think maybe it was Danny that made this. It's a lovely little sanctuary. Yeah, it looks fabby. Let's pop back in here and shut the door. Go outside. Go for a wee fly. We can see it there. Yeah, it looks lovely. So that's been a really sort of advantageous to have, you know, being able to sort of get the honey and then make sure the copper is aged correctly. So I've been using that a fair little bit. And again, the same thing here. So it's a little guardian farm set up. already. And as you can see here, there's just prismarine shards for days, and obviously we've got the prismarine crystals. We haven't really used many sea lanterns, unfortunately, but I think a lot of people... Oh, the black ink's there as well. Black ink's starting to build up now. You see everything feeding across the top. And so again, another really nice build. Clean all this up for somebody. And that's been a really, really handy one for us to have as well. And come back to my own world. And you can see where we spawn is actually going to be at the front gates of the city. Now, we haven't actually got the front gates built as yet. However, what you're going to be able to do is once you spawn in, there'll be a path system here and then a sort of entranceway here to get into the city. Now, you can see where the height of the wall is here. So on the left-hand side, and the idea will be is you'll be able to walk across a very similar sort of walkway that we have on the right-hand side here. Along here, this will be gone in the future. Able to walk through. And here's the sort of sidewalk. There'll be a bridge from here across to the next part of the build, which is going to be that one here. And it's all going to be done in blocked sections. So each part is going to have its own district. So this is currently district number 1, which is going to be hotel, cathedral, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a smelter on the end, like a massive smelting system. You'll be able to sort of go to the top, put everything in. Middle floor is where it all smelts, and then in the bottom, that's where it then outputs it as well. So we're going to have this sort of massive smelting system in here. But I think what we're now going to do, actually, we're going to focus on the last part of our build today, which is going to be the interior. So we'll jump into our little final time lapse for today. What we're going to do is we're just going to focus on getting the interior ready of the first build. Once that first build's all then done with the interior, we can then start hopefully planning build number 2, I should say, with the cathedral. But that'll be in the next episode. But we can maybe start some of the planning today. We'll try and keep the episodes short, not too long, and hopefully you guys can catch every sort of build. Every episode should be something slightly different. So yeah. Cool. Right. Well, enjoy this little time lapse. We'll jump into the interior decoration now of our steampunk hotel/home. And yeah, we'll catch you guys at the end. Enjoy. Alright, there we have it. That was a small little time lapse of me doing the interior. I didn't record all of it, I just didn't really have the time. I didn't want to keep this episode too long, but we'll just jump inside, take you for a wee tour. Alright, let's have a look around. So, starting off with the basement, or sort of the first floor, we have a little bit of a table, as sort of our welcome area. Cog, obviously this sort of chain here is obviously what's turning it, and obviously when this gets turned, that then moves the chain. So there's a little bit of sort of mechanical stuff in here, from the actual fireplace to the sort of a cauldron almost. That's then what it goes to the outside. So that could be maybe the water in there and steaming, generating a bit of power. Some of it's obviously being kept and put back into the system, and ventilated through the top. And there's little things like that all the way around. There's small details where we've got these sort of chimneys using cauldrons. We've got sort of like extended pistons. And we just try to detail them each as much as we can, each of the different rooms. The rooms have still not got beds in them yet. Again, didn't really have the time to add that in, but you'll see those eventually. But all the rooms are in, all the detail is done. Still see the smoke going up the sides, which I quite like. Yeah, just trying to use as much sort of detailing blocks as we possibly can to make it at least a little bit interesting. Getting to the rooms are just ready to be decorated. Lovely. Again, chimneys. Again, all the way around the build. This is one of my favourite bits actually. The chimney from the outside works its way inside. And there's obviously a continuation of the one that comes from the outside of the building into the inside to try and fill this gap here between the two different floors. So that one kind of worked well into there. There's an integrated part. And then right up to the master suite. You obviously seen us making the master bedroom. Again, there's that pipe coming through from the outside and then working its way back into the inside, which is probably where I'll live throughout the duration of the server. I think is where we're going to move our temporary home into our full-time home, and we'll live within here. Not a lot of storage. We will probably need to come up with a storage solution pretty quickly, unless we just keep it in that temporary solution at the meantime. Yeah. I think I still put a lot of detail we could add to here over time. I think lighting's key. I think we probably could put something dangling off of the ceiling. I think there's lots of different things that we could probably do in the future once we start to build this all up. But anyways, well, I think that's enough for today anyway, because that's episode number 2 done. This is our first build that we've got here. I think that probably looking ahead to the future, you can see with this build, it's looking rather lovely. But we'll see how it goes. So thank you very much for everyone that's watched the second number episode here. This has gone so well so far. I've really enjoyed the first 2 episodes that I've sort of made and put the effort and time into, and offer certainly obviously episode number 3 now, we'll be looking to make the cathedral, which will be the build to the right hand side. There's also going to be a little bit of extension to the lore. We've been speaking to Murat, who is making a futuristic village, so we're going to try and come up with a little bit of lore together, which you'll see over time as it develops the storyline. So we're having discussions about that over the new year here. Anyways, I'm going to leave you right there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys again all in episode number 3. Right, till then, bye.